It's 3:43 a.m. You jolt awake to a low, droning siren echoing in the distance. Not the usual ambulance or fire truck, but something deeper, mechanical, unnatural. It cuts through the silence of the night like a warning from another world. Your phone is buzzing on the nightstand, vibrating so hard it nearly falls off. You reach for it with trembling fingers, the glow of the screen lighting up the dark room. The message is short, but the impact is immediate. Emergency alert. National Defense Readiness Condition Level 1. Seek immediate shelter. You stare at it, trying to process. DEFCON 1. That's the highest level, maximum readiness. War is not just possible, it's happening. Your stomach drops. You sit frozen in your bed as the sirens continue outside. A second alert pops up. Multiple ICBM launches detected. Take cover now. For a moment, everything goes silent. Your thoughts, your breath, even time itself. Then it hits you. This isn't a drill. This isn't a movie or a news headline from some far-off land. This is real. And it's happening in your lifetime, in your city, on your street, right now. You fumble with your thoughts, your legs heavy as you try to stand. You think about your family, your bug-out bag, or the lack of one. You wonder if you have enough food. You realize you don't know where the nearest fallout shelter is. You don't even know if you're supposed to stay or run. World War III has just begun. So what do you do? Before we dive into practical advice, let's quickly take a look at the current geopolitical situation, so you understand why this isn't just a movie script. Because while it might feel distant or hypothetical, the truth is, we are closer to a global conflict today than we've been in generations. Let's start with Russia. The war in Ukraine has dragged on far longer than most expected. What began as a regional invasion has evolved into a brutal war of attrition, with Western nations pouring in support, and Moscow responding with increasingly aggressive rhetoric. But it's not just about Ukraine anymore. NATO nations near the Russian border have reported a rise in airspace violations, cyber intrusions, and covert destabilization attempts. Some analysts believe Russia is actively probing for weaknesses and preparing its people psychologically and materially for a long-term confrontation with the West. Meanwhile, China continues to ramp up pressure in the South China Sea and around Taiwan. Military flyovers, naval exercises, and cyber warfare drills have become a near daily occurrence. U.S. forces are heavily deployed across the Pacific, from Japan to Guam to the Philippines, and the Pentagon has warned of a decade of danger as China accelerates its military ambitions. One spark, one miscalculation, could ignite a regional war with global consequences. Then there's Iran. After years of covert operations and proxy conflicts, Tehran and Tel Aviv now stand on the edge of direct war. Israeli airstrikes on Iranian targets have escalated, and Iran's missile and drone arsenal continues to grow. Add in the United States' historical alliances and troop presence in the region, and you've got a powder keg waiting for a match. North Korea is also back in the headlines, launching more missile tests than ever before, including some with intercontinental range capable of reaching the West Coast. Pyongyang's rhetoric is once again hostile, and their weapons are no longer theoretical. And while all this unfolds, America is facing a silent but dangerous wave of cyber attacks, targeting power grids, hospitals, transportation systems, and financial institutions. These aren't just random hackers. They bear the hallmarks of coordinated, state-backed operations designed to test our resilience, map our weaknesses, and, when the time comes, strike in tandem with kinetic warfare. Taken individually, any one of these threats is alarming, but together they form a web of overlapping crises, a global tension matrix where one wrong move, one political assassination, one misinterpreted signal could trigger a full-scale war. These are the flashpoints, and this is why preparedness is no longer a fringe idea, it's a civic responsibility. It's not about fear, it's about awareness. It's about understanding that the world we knew, peaceful, stable, predictable, no longer exists, and that's why you need to be ready. What if World War III starts tomorrow? This video isn't about fear, it's about being smart. It's not about panic, it's about preparation. And that preparation starts now. Because once the sirens go off, once the power grid goes dark, once the headlines shift from speculation to confirmation, it'll already be too late to start thinking clearly. The decisions you make in the first minutes, hours, and days will determine whether you and your loved ones survive or become casualties of confusion. That's why you're here. You're not here to feed your anxiety. You're here to sharpen your awareness. You're here to learn how to think ahead, act with clarity, and avoid becoming one of the millions who freeze, deny, or wait too long. Being prepared isn't paranoid, it's responsible. You prepare not because you expect the worst, but because you want the best possible outcome if the worst ever comes. So let's stop pretending it can't happen. Let's accept the world as it is, complex, unstable, and dangerous, and take action that puts you in control. Because in a world gone mad, the most powerful thing you can be is ready. Let's start with the basics. What would a modern world war even look like? Forget everything you learned in history class. This isn't 1942. We're not talking about trenches or storming beaches. A modern global conflict would be asymmetric, chaotic, and fast. It would begin invisibly, with lines of code instead of tanks. It would involve cyber warfare, targeting the backbone of society, financial systems, energy grids, communication networks. Satellites could be blinded or destroyed, cutting off GPS and satellite internet. An EMP blast could fry electronics across an entire region, sending millions back to a pre-electric age in seconds. Misinformation campaigns would flood social media, turning truth into a weapon and triggering confusion, division, and panic. And while nations posture with nuclear threats, the real casualties in the early stages wouldn't be from fireballs or mushroom clouds. They'd be from failure of infrastructure, failure of logistics, failure of systems we take for granted. Grocery store shelves would empty in hours, gas stations would run dry, hospitals would be overwhelmed or offline, medication would become scarce, clean water wouldn't flow, emergency services would be stretched thin or disappear entirely. The average person wouldn't die in battle, they'd be lost in the chaos that follows a collapsing society. That's why understanding the nature of this threat isn't about military tactics, it's about survival in a world where everything around you suddenly stops working. The war would arrive not with a bang, but with silence. The silence of a dead phone, the silence of an empty store, the silence of waiting for help that never comes. Your first step isn't building a bunker, it's opening your eyes. But before any gear or supplies, the real weapon is your mindset. In every major disaster, the people who survive are not always the strongest or best equipped. They're the ones who stay calm and act with clarity. Panic kills. Panic makes you freeze or make irrational choices. Your brain shuts down critical thinking and defaults to instinct. And in a high-stakes situation, instinct without preparation is dangerous. The first thing you need to train is not your hands, it's your thinking. Preparation isn't paranoia, it's responsibility. It's the quiet confidence of knowing you've thought things through and that you can act while others are still asking, is this really happening? You don't need to become a hardcore prepper overnight. You don't need a secret bunker in the mountains. What you need is to break through the illusion of safety. You need to accept one truth: the unthinkable can happen. History proves that again and again, and when it does, you want to be a protector, not a liability. You want your family looking at you for answers, not watching you fall apart. You don't have to be perfect, but you do have to be ready. The mindset is simple. Plan for the worst, live your best. You can live a normal life, go to work, spend time with your kids, enjoy your weekends. But underneath it all, there's a layer of readiness that doesn't sleep. That quiet layer is what this video helps you build. Because if tomorrow is the day everything changes, your mindset is the first line of defense. So let's get into it. What should you actually do in the first 24 hours if global war breaks out? The answer might be simpler than you think, but only if you stay calm, act fast, and follow the right steps. Step 1. Assess the threat. Don't panic. That's rule number 1. Your first move should never be emotional. It needs to be strategic. Ask yourself, am I in a high-risk zone? Are you living near a major metropolitan area, a military installation, a port, a power plant, or any kind of national infrastructure hub? These are the kinds of places that would be high-priority targets in a first-wave strike. If you are, your window for evacuation could be measured in minutes, not hours. If you're in a rural area or on the outskirts of low-profile towns, your risk is significantly lower, and staying put may actually be safer than hitting the roads, which could become instant chaos. Your goal is to understand your exposure, not guess it. Open a map. Think like a military planner. Would you target where you live? If the answer's yes, move to step 2 fast. Step 2. Secure water and food. This isn't a cliche, it's a biological law. The rule of 3 is real. You can survive 3 minutes without air, 3 hours without shelter in extreme weather, 3 days without water, and 3 weeks without food. Start with water. Fill every container you own. Clean or not, doesn't matter right now. Bathtubs, sinks, pots, pitchers, even plastic bins. Anything that holds liquid is now part of your survival plan. If you have a water filter like a Sawyer Mini, Life Straw, or gravity fed system, get it ready. If not, boiling is your next best bet. Don't assume you'll have clean tap water for long. Municipal systems fail fast in war. As for food, think calories, not comfort. Rice, canned beans, peanut butter, protein bars, anything shelf-stable. Freeze-dried meals are gold if you have them, but don't get picky. You're buying time, not flavor. Step 3. Get information. In a global conflict, the first casualty is clarity. The internet might slow down, go dark, or be filled with misinformation. You need analog backups. A hand crank or battery-powered emergency radio can be a lifeline. Make sure you know your local NOAA frequency and any regional emergency broadcast channels. These tools will help you filter signal from noise and may give you critical intel like whether to evacuate or stay put. If you haven't used your radio before, now's the time to learn. Manuals exist for a reason. Step 4. Gather essentials. If you've already built a bug-out bag, grab it. If not, don't waste time. Assemble a rapid response kit. You need ID documents, driver's license, passport, anything official. Cash in small denominations because ATMs and card readers will fail. Prescription medications, ideally 30 days worth. A flashlight, extra batteries, a fully charged power bank, basic hygiene items, and warm, durable clothing. Think of what you'd want if you had to live in your car or a stranger's basement for a week. That's your baseline. This isn't about comfort, it's about continuity. Step 5. Establish communication. Talk with your family, your roommates, whoever you're living with. Make a plan now. Don't assume you'll have a second chance. Designate a rally point, somewhere you can all meet if you get separated and phones go down. Sometimes SMS still goes through even when calls don't, so try it. Write down important phone numbers on paper. If you're alone, consider checking in with a neighbor or someone nearby. Even minimal coordination can improve your odds. Shortwave radios, GMRS, or even a basic whistle could save your life in the right moment. Don't underestimate the power of simple tools. Remember this. The first 24 hours of global war aren't about fighting, fleeing, or freaking out. They're about stability. Your job isn't to be a hero, it's to be invisible, informed, and as immovable as possible until you know what's really happening. In this kind of crisis, impulsive decisions get people killed. Calculated ones keep people alive. Take a breath, then take action. You've got 24 hours to shape your odds. Make every move count. Just as critical as knowing what to do is knowing what not to do. The wrong move, even with the right intentions, can cost you everything. Let's start with the obvious mistake. Don't run to the grocery store in a panic. It's instinctual, you feel the fear, you think of food, and you bolt to the nearest supermarket. But by the time you're thinking it, so is everyone else. The shelves will already be empty, the lines chaotic in the parking lot, a high-risk zone. Fights break out. People panic. Desperation sets in fast. You're not buying safety. You're stepping into a potential mob. If you don't already have what you need, prioritize water and security at home. Scavenging comes later, if it comes at all. Second, don't rely on your phone or social media for information. When a major crisis hits, the online space becomes a digital war zone of rumors, fear, and bad intel. Fake news will outpace the facts. Even official accounts can be compromised or go silent. Algorithms don't care about truth. They care about engagement. That means fear, not facts. Your priority is clean, confirmed information from reliable sources. Battery-powered radios, government broadcasts, ham operators, keep it old school. Third, don't talk about your preps. This one's huge. If people know you have food, water, power, or a plan, they'll remember it when their own supplies run out. Don't post photos of your gear. Don't tell neighbors how ready you are. And absolutely don't announce where you're bugging out to. In a crisis, good people become desperate, and desperate people are dangerous. Your best defense is silence. Blend in, stay calm, be invisible. Finally, don't wait to be rescued. This is a hard truth for a lot of people to accept, but in a true national emergency, help may not be coming. Emergency services will be overwhelmed. Response times will vanish. Hospitals will be full or shut down. Police will triage calls, not answer them. If you're waiting for someone in uniform to knock on your door and walk you to safety, you're already behind. In global war, self-reliance isn't selfish, it's survival. Your mindset needs to shift from dependency to decisiveness. You are your own first responder. You are your family's backup plan. You are the system now. Accept that and act accordingly. Every mistake you avoid gives you one more step ahead. In this game, survival favors the prepared and the disciplined. So what can you start doing today, right now, before anything actually happens? The answer is simple. Start small. This isn't about building an underground bunker or spending thousands of dollars overnight. It's about taking smart, manageable steps that build real resilience over time. Start with the basics. Create a 3-day supply of food and water for every member of your household. That's 9 meals per person, and at least 3 gallons of water each. Think shelf-stable. Cans, rice, peanut butter, energy bars, water jugs, or bottles. If you store it in a cool, dark place and rotate every few months, it'll be there when you need it. Next, buy a battery-powered or hand-crank emergency radio. These things are affordable, low-tech, and incredibly useful when the grid goes down. It's your direct line to emergency broadcasts, weather updates, and news when your phone goes silent. Don't wait until you need it to figure out how it works. Learn now. Then write down important phone numbers on paper. Yes, old school. Your phone isn't guaranteed to be there when it matters. Power banks die. Screens break. And in an actual emergency, you might only have seconds to reach someone. Keep that list somewhere obvious. Wallet, glove box, go bag. Speaking of which, build a go bag. Nothing fancy, no need for military gear or custom packs. Just gather the essentials you'd need to live 72 hours away from home. Think clothing, meds, documents, flashlight, batteries, food, water, cash, hygiene, and a multi-tool. If you'd take it on a last-minute road trip to nowhere, it belongs in that bag. And don't forget your car. Keep your gas tank at least half full at all times. It's a simple rule that could mean the difference between getting out and getting stuck. Gas stations are one of the first things to go down in any panic event. Don't let your mobility depend on last-minute luck. Finally, talk to your loved ones. Have the conversation, not in fear, but with clarity. Set up a just-in-case plan. Where would you meet if you were separated? Who would you call if cell service was spotty? Even a basic plan puts you miles ahead of most. It's not about scaring people. It's about making sure no one freezes when every second counts. And here's the real takeaway. If you take just one action a week, you're already ahead of 90% of the population. Most people wait until it's too late. You don't have to. Preparedness isn't about paranoia. It's about peace of mind. Knowing you've got what you need, knowing you can stay calm under pressure, that's not fear. That's freedom. And it starts with the steps you take today. If you found this video helpful so far, take a second to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. It helps more than you know, and it makes sure you don't miss what's coming next. This is just the beginning. In the rest of this series, we're going to break down exactly how to build a real emergency plan that works in the real world. We'll show you what gear is actually worth your money, not just hype, but tested, practical tools. And we'll dive deep into how to mentally and physically prepare for the kind of crises no one wants to face, but everyone should be ready for. This channel isn't about panic. It's not about fear. It's about facts, strategy, confidence, preparedness. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be ready. So stick with us. You've already taken the first step. Because at the end of the day, preparedness isn't fear. It's freedom. It's knowing that you have the power to act instead of freeze, that you can protect your family, that you don't need to rely on broken systems. Preparedness means taking control of the only thing you can, yourself. And that starts now, because at the end of the day, preparedness isn't fear, it's freedom. It's the quiet confidence of knowing that when the world goes sideways, you won't. It's knowing that you can act instead of freeze, that you can protect your family when it matters most, that you're not waiting on someone else to save you, not the government, not the news, not the system. Because systems fail, panic spreads, but prepared people move. Preparedness means taking control of the one thing you truly own, yourself, your mindset, your decisions, your readiness. And that doesn't start when the sirens go off. It starts now, quietly, intentionally, one choice at a time. This isn't about living in fear of tomorrow, it's about having peace of mind today. And if you're ready to keep building that mindset, you're in the right place.